Welcome, everybody. It is Fed Day, and Z is correct. It is raining men and hopefully raining some money. Derrick got a haircut, which we're all very happy about. He looks very, very handsome. Right now, he is in Paris, living his global trader lifestyle between Idaho and Paris. I don't know what to make of that, but whatever. Okay, so obviously, it is Fed Day. That is the big thing that is on everybody's mind. So we, of course, had to bring in the boys to see what's working now, what we should be in, what is the next big trade? That's the question on my mind, and some other fun stuff that's going on. So how's everybody doing today?
Doing great.
Doing great. Bonsoir.
Z is correct. Everybody looks wonderful today. Okay. All right. So the theme here the last couple of weeks has been the market just keeps on going. You know, we've I don't know, war is out of control. Nobody knows what's going on in the Middle East. It feels like everybody forgot about the tariff thing for the last few days, but the market is just humming along. So I'll just throw the question out to everybody. Has anything changed, at least in terms of the market?
Only is slowing in the momentum, but the trend is your friend is probably the oldest saying on Wall Street for a reason, because we just have a beautiful uptrend, but we do have a slowing in the momentum. That's it. And you can see it if you put a moving average, like the 20-period moving average on the daily chart of the NASDAQ or the S&P 500, you will see that the 20 MA has started to flatten out a little bit. And so that tells us that there's a slowing in momentum. But nothing else changed as far as I know.
Okay, JR and Derrick, what do you guys think?
The technicals are still incredibly strong. It's exactly like Sami said. There is a slowing in the up move, and the technicals are still fully intact. They haven't broken lower. The market is very bullish, technically speaking. I've heard some people try to make an argument that the high from 2 days ago in the S&P is potentially a little bit of a lower high. Maybe I think that's kind of reaching a little bit, but maybe we need to break lower to actually confirm that. The interesting part about right now, so this market has just done the most fantastic job ever of ignoring every piece of bad news that could possibly come out. It's been that way for weeks. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter if it's trade related, war related, weak economic data. We saw a not great looking retail sales number this week. It doesn't seem to matter what happens. I think a lot of that is just entirely related to market dynamics that are just keeping a really, really strong bid underneath this market. If you kind of look back historically at similar war situations as to what we're seeing with Israel and Iran, historically, on average, you see like a 6% down move over 3 weeks that then kind of bottoms and fully retraces back higher. This lasted like a day. Like we went down on Friday, then Monday we basically were making highs. Then yesterday we were spooked a little bit, and then today we basically we're making highs. The market's incredibly strong, but a lot of the times when the market dynamics shift and it opens up a potential window of weakness is OPEX. So we had VIXpiration this morning that can begin to loosen the market up a little bit. We've got a big OPEX on Friday that can loosen up the market further. And again, I call that like a window of weakness because it's an opportunity for the market to actually be able to move lower. It doesn't mean that it has to happen. So turn back to the technicals. If we can break, starting with Friday's low of last week, that'd be the first place I would pay attention to. If we can break that, then maybe that confirms the little lower high from 2 trading sessions ago. Really, I want to see the market get below the June 5th low, the June 5th low, to begin to confirm that the market is, I wouldn't even call it bearish at that point. I would call it neutral. It's no longer in its vertical, grindy 45-degree uptrend if we can break below that level. So one step at a time.
Okay. All right. So, JR, what do you think? Just steady as she goes?
Yeah, I mean, the SPX is, you want to know what I think? Okay. I think the SPX is going to be a real tough nut to crack through 6,100. That's my thought. We're in a little bit of a weird honey badger market. There's a weird sort of voodoo underlying bid to all things. It's completely agree with my coworkers here that we have had a slowdown in momentum in some aspects. It's very typical, late stage market cycle to get the infamous dash for trash. And that's really what I've been focusing on. Your CRCLs this morning exploding, your CRWVs, Reddits, all these trashy names. I wouldn't bring home to mama for all the tea in China are just exploding. And to me, that's a sign that, people are desperate looking for momentum, and you have a lot of retail attention in these names that are moving. And that's usually, to me, a little bit of a sign of excess. They're attacking all these IPOs, trying to break out IPO bases and just looking for momentum because, you've lost a lot of momentum in the mega cap names. But a lot of sectors still look really strong. I mean, look at banks today, regionals, like a lot of things are still moving, but momentum certainly slowed down. So as a day trader, I'm focusing primarily right now on riding the dash for trash.
Yeah, we are seeing huge returns in actually stocks with almost no revenue are doing really, really well right now, which I think says a lot. Okay. We have the Fed today. Now, first, President Trump said that he might want to appoint himself as the Fed chair. So I just need a quick yes or no from each of you guys. Do you think Trump should be the Fed chair? JR, you first.
I think season 2
I need
of
a
Trump
yes or no. Yes or no, please.
Absolutely. Go for it. Why not?
All right.
What the hell?
Okay, Sami, how about you? Yes or no?
I have to say more than yes or no.
I need a yes or no. That's the way this works.
Okay, no.
Okay, Derrick, do you believe Trump should also be Fed chair?
Let's do it. Let's have him be Fed chair. Cut interest rates to zero. Let's make this bubble real. Let's make this bubble really real, and let's ride. It'll create some great trading actions.
Right. Hodl, baby.
We will be so rich as soon as money is worth nothing. I'm so down for it.
Yeah, I agree. As one of my high school math teachers said, why be a half-ass when you could be a whole ass? I think we should just go for it. Okay, so it does seem like the market is bracing for good news because we're seeing today ARK is up, small caps are doing well, semis have been doing well, biotech is doing well. Do you guys think that, I don't know, Powell is going to come out super dovish and just keep it on going?
So can I start?
Of course.
All right, so the IWM is doing a daily buy setup. This morning when I got on the mic in the pre-market, I said I expect the IWM to dip a little bit because it's showing some weakness, but then because it's right at the rising 20 MA on the daily chart, I would expect it to go right back up. It's already kind of doing what I expected it to do after the Fed announcement. It's doing it right now, so I think that's pretty bullish. So yeah, I don't think we're going to see much of a surprise. If there is going to be a surprise, I would say to the upside, not to the downside, but we'll see.
I like the optimism. JR, what do you think? Do you think that there's a chance we actually extend after the Fed?
I don't know. I have no clue. The tape bombs are frequent, and they're getting more and more bizarre as the days go by. I'm pretty sure at this point that we're living in some sort of weird stock market simulation. I have no idea. The only thing I really care about is making money and trading correctly, and we're just replete with opportunities. I don't think we're going to get a very clear answer from Powell. We have some really contradictory data, some really concerning data in terms of consumer sentiment. The Michigan prints didn't give me a warm and fuzzy either. And Powell is really stuck between a rock and a hard place. He can't really lower rates at all. They have to keep their powder dry. There's too many geopolitical and economic boogeymen for him to make a rate cut decision, in my opinion. And we're gonna get an hour of the old Powell Kansas City shuffle. I have my Powellese to English translator. I'm picking it up from the shop at 2:00 today, so I can try to make sense of whatever the hell he's going to say. But overall, I don't think we're going to get any surprises. The only thing I'm looking for is the summary of economic projections, the SEP, which will hopefully help us read the tea leaves to some extent. But I'm expecting a bit of a nothing burger.
Okay, Derrick. So JR saying nothing burger. Sami thinks we could rally after. Do you think there's? Actually, Derrick, I'll ask you in a slightly different way. Like, do you think there's any edge to be had right now as far as the Fed goes?
I want to say that I think the risk is to the upside on this, but I really don't have a lot of conviction on it. It's exactly like JR just said. It's going to be all about a combination of the dot plot, whether or not it shows one cut priced in for this year or two cuts priced in this year. If it shows that there is two cuts priced in for the year and he couples it with some dovish language, we're probably going to be moving higher. If it shows that there's one cut this year and he's as hawkish as he's been, then there's a good chance that we move lower. The question is, do we move lower into the never-ending bid, or is that not going to be as strong as it has been because we're now in a corporate buyback blackout window, and we just got through at least the VIX part of expiration. So maybe it could loosen us up to the downside. But I want to say the risk is to the upside, but flip a coin.
Okay, JR, are you like playing Fortnite or something? What is going on over there?
I'm trading Coinbase, son. Sachs is on the mic, and he's giving us some nice scalps. Sorry, I'm gonna mute myself.
It's okay. All right. Okay. So the other big topic I want to talk about is what is the next big trade? We've seen a lot of interesting things happen this year. We've seen gold go. We've seen uranium. Biotech's woken up lately. China had a moment. 90s tech stocks have been up huge, like Oracle and Micron and Analog Devices. So like your issue of Forbes from 1997 actually comes in handy. So I want to know if any of you guys, and also the answer could be none, but do any of you guys see any kind of big trends forming that people should be paying attention to now?
Yes. I will go back to Derrick's old favorite, Tesla. If you look at the month.
Here we go.
Okay.
If you look at the monthly chart, I'm serious here. I'm trying to have a conversation.
Sami, can you do you want to pull up your chart or no?
Yeah.
All right, but before Sami goes, I actually wonder sometimes if Sami just has like an irrational love for Tesla.
I am currently short Tesla.
I've noticed that.
Go, Sami.
I actually looked over the last 12 months. Tesla earnings estimates have dropped by about 50%, and the stock's up like 96%. Which
they can't even. They're having to buy parking lots because no one's buying their cars. They're shutting down production for a week. It's not even a company. It's a hope. It's a dream, but it could still go higher. Sami's about to tell me why I'm going to get smoked on my short. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's funny because I know Sami is like a very sensible, rational guy. I think he just loves Tesla because I feel like he always has a reason he's going in on Tesla.
There's a reason, because they are not going to be a car company for that much longer. That's what I think. They'll still sell cars, but that's not going to be their primary business. You will see. Just watch and see. We'll be around.
Did you see that the head of Optimus just quit? Sounds like it's going well.
Well,
you're such a Derrick,
because he knew he was going to be replaced by a robot. That's how good those robots are. We're going to see. When Derrick has a robot like folding his laundry and cleaning out the refrigerator, things will change. I know it. I can feel it.
So I'm gonna share my chart. I was just fixing it. It was messed up. So let me just share my chart, and then we'll see what the chart says. Doesn't matter what we say.
Yeah, I'm actually terrified of those robots.
Terrified of the robots doing your laundry for you? Yeah.
No, of like coming to murder me. I grew up in the 80s with like the Terminator and RoboCop and all these sci-fi movies. These things don't end well.
All right. Can you guys see my chart?
It's showing you your TC 2000 watch list.
All right. So how do I get rid of this? Watch this now.
I think you might have shared
I
the
know, I
wrong
shared the
TC
wrong
2000
thing.
window. I think we just lost Sami for a second. Uh-oh. All right. Looks like Sami's back.
I'm back. Sorry about that. It'll take me a second. Just 1 second, please.
Derrick, yeah,
If Sami needs some time, I could start talking about the bear side of Tesla for a little longer.
I don't know. I think Derrick might have just hacked something.
I got my charts.
All right, so we will have a little Tesla debate here, and then I will decide the winner.
Okay, that's good. So check it out. What do you see here happening on the monthly chart? What do you see here? That's the 20-period moving average. I see a gigantic rounding bottom. I see a deep pullback that retested. It tried to fail on the buy setup, and then it got bought. The buy setup got tested also here, and it got bought. Now, in the short term, we see a run up, and we see the 20s pointing down. So in the short term, it might actually turn bearish in the short term. But you asked for a gigantic trade. And I think in the long term, Tesla is going to be that gigantic trade because of the way the monthly chart is looking. It looks really good long term. So again, what I see is a big rounded bottom. It shot up like crazy, doubled, then it crashed. Then it put in a buy setup. The buy setup tried to fail. That's when Musk and Elon were, and Musk and Trump were going at it. Tried to fail by coming in all the way down to here, and then it turned into a big bottoming tail. Now, again, in the short term, doesn't look that good. The 20 is pointing down. That's bearish. This was a strong reversal, though, so I'm not really expecting it to fall apart. But in the long term, I like it a lot. In the long term, we'll see. Only time will tell.
Excellent. Okay, Derrick, can you give us the Tesla bear case in 30 seconds?
Based on the chart.
Sure. So in all seriousness, 330 to 333 had been a really important level. It broke below that, really started to break that the day before Trump and Elon got into it, and then just pulverized through 330. And I can't share my screen because I'm on the phone here. Otherwise I would. But Sami has his up, so maybe he's able to help me with it with a daily chart. You can look at the month of June. You can see the day in which we really broke down on that argument that they had. And then that 330 to 333 zone has been holding as resistance ever since. 2 trading sessions ago, the stock was very relatively weak. Just looking at Tesla in a vacuum, it actually looks like a bull setup to me to break back through that 333. But looking at it in conjunction with the market, it was very relatively weak. Then yesterday it got hit lower, and that's when the news came out that they're literally having to buy up parking lots because no one's buying their cars, and they're having to store extra cars in parking lots and stop production for a week or so. The incredible thing is that it already is back above yesterday's high. So that also shows an incredible amount of strength. It was one of the strongest stocks out there today in mega cap tech land. And it just peaked like 30 minutes ago as a headline came out that Waymo is applying for a permit to do self-driving cars in New York. So I hit down Uber, hit down Lyft. It looks like I hit down Tesla a little bit. So look, the technicals are the most important thing. I like the idea of sticking short on the stock as long as it doesn't get back above that 330 to 333. And honestly, to confirm Sami's monthly chart, you needed to break above that level. So in the same way that could be a stop out for like me as a short seller, that could actually be the long entry for the technical setup that Sami is describing. Now, from a company perspective, I don't get it at all. Like I just said, the head of Optimus just quit. They're behind Waymo all over the place in self-driving cars. No one's buying their actual cars. So if they're not a car company, I don't know what they actually are because they don't sell anything else except for a hope and a dream. But a hope and a dream in this market is enough. You got, look at Circle, look at CRWV. It doesn't matter. Tesla could announce that they're done with cars entirely tomorrow and that Elon is just going to sell moon rocks and the stock could go up on it because that's the environment that we're in. So let the technicals be your guide. from a fundamental perspective, I think it makes no sense. And I think that 330 to 333 is the breaking point between you could potentially be short below it, but if it starts breaking above, then Sammy's thought process is starting to be confirmed by the technicals, and then it looks like a long.
Sammy, you have to unmute yourself, Sammy.
Sorry. So I'm totally in agreement about the short term. That to me, it doesn't look good. Actually, if we break under this, that's like, that's a breakdown. I can see it coming almost. But so the short term doesn't look good. And I think it will maybe thrash around a little bit. But in the long term, I still like it higher in the long term. Now, if the market turns bearish all of a sudden, then yeah, it won't work. But I think barring a break, barring a having a bearish market, I think it'll be okay in the long term. Short term, don't like it.
Okay. All right. I'm going to declare Sammy the winner, but not for the reasons you might expect, because Derrick keeps laying out all the bad news, but the stock goes up. So it seems like the worse it gets, the better it is for the stock. That's my take. So we need more bad news. We need more bad news in Tesla. We need less cars sold. We need more parking lots. We need more people quitting. And that will take the stock to 1,000, maybe 2,000 in the next 5 years, if you ask Kathy Wood.
I agree. Donald Trump for Fed. Let's go. Fed chairman. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So Derrick and JR. So do you guys have any idea of what the next big trade is? Now, it could be a stock. It could be a sector. It could be anything.
I got some things in mind. JR, you want to go? You want to have at it?
Send it, bro.
I need one. I just need one big, beautiful trade.
One. I think that SolarEdge is a zero after the announcement yesterday. I'm short the stock. This thing couldn't make money even before the adjustment to the big beautiful bill. It's only ever lost money. It's only going to continue to lose money. I think the thing's going to work its way down to absolutely zero. I think that there's going to be a bunch of big short trades on the horizon if the market ever wants to go down. It's more about the timing of the market going down that I think is very, very tricky.
Okay. JR, how about you?
I mean, like when we started doing this, I told you after AI we were going to have a ridiculous quantum mania, and this is where we find ourselves right now. It's preposterous. I love it. Nothing makes sense anymore. I think next they're going to go with the robots. They're going to, any robotics name will be trading at 389 times forward earnings, and it'll be ridiculous and inflated. And people are going to be talking about the robot revolution. Nothing makes sense in this market, and I love it.
Okay.
As far as Tesla is concerned, I'll just say one thing. Kramer always says on Apple, own it, don't trade it. I feel exactly the opposite about Tesla. Trade it, don't own it. I've been long Tesla for almost a decade, and it's become a frighteningly large part of my portfolio. But at this point, I think trying to hold Tesla long term is a fool's errand. There isn't a coworker Elon Musk will not impregnate. There isn't a political party he won't piss off. And he's turning into a sort of weird, awkward version of a modern day Howard Hughes that's just creeping everybody out. So, it's not for the faint of heart to be a long-term Tesla bull. When Gary Black hung up the gloves, I think that was a good signal for long-term Tesla bulls, a real red flag there.
When did he do that? Because I assure you, he got out most of his position right at the bottom at 140 or something like this, Gary Black. So I don't know.
Sure, but the points he was making were salient and correct. That's my only point. I love trading Tesla. I trade Tesla almost.
I agree with what Derrick said. It totally makes sense. But the chart is the chart. And so I'm going with the chart.
Listen, I trade Tesla at least 20 times a day. It's how I make a part of my living. I think it's one of the best stocks to day trade when it's moving. I think it's fantastic. You're asking me about like long term. I think it's a very dangerous stock to get in now. I think 8-10 years ago, it was a genius move. Now, you better hang on to your pantaloons because it's going to be a wild ride.
Okay, so JR, our friend Z is asking a very good question in the chat. So have you reduced at least your long-term holdings in Tesla?
No, I'm deep in the money, baby. I'm gonna let this one ride.
All right. Okay. So, all right. This is.
By the way, I think that if you have the stomach for it, as ridiculous as it sounds,
okay,
because nothing makes sense with Tesla, it's Narnia.
So
okay, I do believe that Elon Musk will pull it off, and I do think that the robots are going to be a huge hit. I think their FSD is going to be licensable, and it's going to become the standard for not only the charging and fully self-driving industry. I think there's a lot of upside to Tesla, but it's a wild ride if you're getting in now.
Okay, all right. But then you just told us before that he was going around impregnating Gary Black and whoever else is involved. So how do you square those?
What happens between consenting adults is none of my business. It's just not a good look for the company.
All right. Okay. So it seems like we all agree that Tesla's a mess, and that's a good thing.
It's a wonderful thing.
All right. Okay. I need to end this with some kind of fun topic. And okay, all right. This is gonna be a weird Tesla related question. No, that's not a good. Anybody in the chat have like a fun food related question or any kind of trivia question I could throw out? Because I don't know what it is. I'm pretty much spent right now.
I think you're just hungry.
I am. Everybody else in this.
I've been out here eating snails for breakfast. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Okay. All right. Which non-American country has the best food?
Didn't we do this once already?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure we did that one already because I'm pretty sure I remember saying the Republic of Georgia.
Okay. Oh yeah. All right. Does everybody here eat hot dogs?
No, unless I'm stuck in a deserted island or at Yankee Stadium, bro.
Okay.
If I'm desperate, I gotta be really desperate. But
it's September in Yankee Stadium, then that's valid.
Okay. All right. I'll keep it simple. What is the best burger topping? And before I'm gonna have to give my answer to set the stage so people understand. The best thing to put on a burger is a fried egg. Because there's something magical about that yolk. It gives you some of the magic of breakfast any time of the day, combined with the sheer joy and beauty of the burger. So what do you guys think? What is the best thing to put on a burger?
It depends on what we're in the mood for. I love caramelized onions. I love guac or avocado sometimes. I don't know.
Caramelized onions is a good one. JR, what do you think?
As long as it's not pineapples, bro, I'm good.
Pineapple is excellent on burgers.
Stop.
Pineapple, yes, pineapple, fried egg, and a beet. I've actually eaten that before.
Are we going to have to go back to couples therapy, Michael?
No, because couples therapy is always stacked against the man, and we're both men, so we're both going to get screwed.
Come on, who wears the pants?
No, definitely not me. Not on Tuesdays. Okay. All right, Derrick. What do you think? What is the best topping?
The best topping on a burger is cheese. But if you ask me the best topping on a cheeseburger, I would agree with you on the fried egg.
Hallelujah. What kind of cheese?
I just like a classic American slice on there, honestly. But I could do pepper jack as well. But happy with some standard American.
Okay. This is a very strange day because nobody gave me reason to get angry. We've had some real ugly incidents in the last few weeks, but nobody gave me a reason to get angry. Okay, that's going to wrap us up. Folks, good luck out there. Have fun with the Fed. Enjoy yourselves. Everybody have a wonderful day.